Hello, my name is ABIENVENU. Today we're going to talk about pressure ulcer risk using the braiding scale to be able to um, go through and get a numerical value of the risk of skin breakdown and pressure ulcers. So first we're going to have it's broke down into I think six um, categorizations this way, and then it's another four this way across here. And so we got the first one is sensory perception, moisture, activity, mobility, nutrition, and friction and shear. So those are the main categories. And on the side, it breaks it down from one to four, the severity of it. So at four, it's more no impairment. Okay, so you got one that's completely limited, two is very limited, three slightly limited, and four. So as you go through, you assessing your patient, and you notice that they are responding to verbal commands but cannot always communicate discomfort, or the needs to be turned, or if the sensory impairment, which limits ability to feel pain or discomfort, is in one or two extremities, you just literally have your chart next to you or memorize it and say, okay, that's a three on there. Okay, so I come on the side and I write three. All right, then I'm gonna go down to the next one, the moisture. All right, it says degree to which the skin is exposed to moisture. Is the skin moist? Okay, is it constantly moist? Does it hold moisture there all the time? Or is it very moist, which is the skin is often but not always moist? Is it rarely moist, which is usually dry when you change the linens, it's hardly ever dry. It's always dry. So you just rate from one to four the severity of it, with four being the least severe. It's more normal the higher the number is. The least likely for the skin to break down, to form a pressure ulcer. The next one is activity. Um, their bed rested, their chair rested. Occasionally walks is the next one. And the next one is walks frequently. So again, the higher the number, the least likely the skin to break down. So I'll go in and I notice my patient, like I said earlier, we scored him a three on sensory, moisture, I'll say a four. Skin is very dry. It's never moist. He's able to go to the restroom, and so he doesn't urinate or he doesn't have a catheter. He's able to go to the bathroom. So there's no moisture there. Um, the next one, activity, we talked about earlier. I said that he just was able to walk to the restroom, so he's able to walk occasionally as he needs to go to the restroom. So that's a three. Um, the next category is mobility, and he has little slightly um, limited mobility. So I would say roughly a three. Again, the higher the number, the least likely the chances are for breakdown. The next one is nutrition. He eats fine. So I would say fine. So eats over at least half of his meals. A total of four servings of protein, dairy products per day, and he may occasionally refuse a meal, but he usually takes like a supplement when it's offered. If it's they'll put in a milkshake, he'll consume it, but majority of the time he it's either a three or a four. So we'll go with a three. The next one categories are friction shear. Friction shear is ranked in one, two, and three. The problem, potential problem, and no apparent problem. My guy is able to get up. He is slightly limited when I said the verbal commands, in a sense that he doesn't communicate discomfort with me. He may hold that in. He may try to be like manly about it and say, "Oh, everything's fine." But I can obviously see that there is a little discomfort. But it's not limited. The next one we ranked it as a rarely moist, so it's always dry. Uh, we said he walks occasionally back and forth to the restroom. He had slightly limited, um, making like frequent shifts in the body position independently. He's able to move himself, just limited, so he can't bounce around, but he can move just enough. Also, his nutrition was a 3. Adequate meals, like I said earlier, he sometimes refuses a meal, not very often, but he will take a supplement. Maybe he just doesn't feel like eating, Again, I would rank on the friction and shear, no apparent problem in the move to the bed and to the chair independently. He may just be a little slower, but he's fine. He is good. So we'll tally all that up. That was let's see. Again, for the first one, that was a 3. We got a 4, a 3, a 3, and a 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12, and that's a 16. Okay, so for this guy here, if you look at the braiding scale, very high risk will be a score of 9 or less. Very high risk is a 10 to 12. A moderate risk would be a 13 to 14. Mild risk is a 15 to 18, and no risk at all would be 19 to 23. Our guy, after doing his assessment, is a 16. He falls under the category of mild risk. So the potential is there, and we should watch it, but it's not a very high risk. Though it's like we should never worry about it. No, we should just keep an eye on it because, like we said, that he has mobility. Just he can't move as fast or move around as often as he wants, and sometimes him not eating every time, like he does eat, but him refusing that lowers his chance or increases his chances of breakdown because of protein needed to inhibit healing and just vitamins he needs. That is the braiding scale. Again, it's very self-explanatory. When you have the braiding scale in front of you, you can just read your patient, literally read, physically see them, and just circle the numbers that's in the box. Again, to reiterate, the higher the number, the least likely the patient has for skin breakdown. Thank you so much. My name is ABIENVENU, and have a good day.